It really is a Christmas miracle. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first look at the Age of Men mod for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Today we are diving in and taking a look at this awesome new, I guess, pre-alpha build that the developers were kind enough to go ahead and share with their Patreons and of course me. So obviously keep in mind that this is nowhere near done. This is literally the development build of just them working and sticking stuff in, but there is still so much already in the mod. Considering this started up about 2 months ago, it's actually really impressive. So I thought it would be a cool idea to basically just jump in and show you guys everything that is new with this mod. And of course, I'll leave a link to their Patreon as well as their Discord down below, which is where you can obviously keep up to date and help support the development of this amazing mod. I also want to go and give a big shout out to the dev team working on this. The main head developer has poured a lot of money into this mod, commissioning weapons, armors, maps, scenes, etc. And it's actually such an incredible service to the community that they are doing that. On top of that, we've had so many legendary modders of the community just coming in and helping out with this project here and there. So it's just been a really, really awesome thing to see. And yeah, of course, what more could we possibly want than an epic Lord of a Rings mod? So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's dive in. So of course, we do have the basis of the map right here. Of course, Minas Tirith and the realms of Gondor are the main kind of focus right now. That's what is being worked on, but you guys can see it's coming along quite nicely. They have custom models for all the Gondorian cities as well. I think there's roughly about 6 or 7 different types, and there's also different village models as well, which again is really, really cool to see. And you know, Minas Tirith is looking absolutely glorious right here. Over in the right hand side we have Cat Andros right here, and then of course a few other northern kind of settlements here for the Dunland and other settlements to hold the line, the villages, etc. looking very, very cool. And again, something just to reiterate, I know I've already said it, but this is, you know, nowhere near done. There's still plenty of work to go on in every single aspect. Even though Gondor is done in the sense of the settlements are placed, etc., they still have to do all the west. I know Lemmy's going to come over and add personal touches to it and add in more detail to the campaign map itself. So again, just keep that in mind, that everything you see now, there's going to be stuff that changes. There's going to be more detail added across everything. So as we make our way down south, of course, we have Pelargir right here, and then as we continue to go down south, again, the mountainous passes right here, which I think is going to be really interesting. And I actually kind of like how they've done the mountains so much. They use one of Tolkien's maps to really craft this out, and I think it's going to help the AI out so much more and make the wars a bit more interesting, considering there are only so many paths to kind of cross around off into the mountains. And we go all the way back off into Dol Amroth right here, and of course the ports as well, looking very, very nice indeed. They are also, the next thing they are working on is obviously filling out the kind of western parts of Gondor. That's going to be the next goal. Then it's going to be focused in on Rohan, and then obviously developing Rohan, adding in the streams, the trees, all the scenery, etc., placing the settlements, and then it's Mordor. And Mordor is of course one of my one of my preferred factions. So I'm excited to see kind of Mordor get fleshed out, the Black Gate model being added, etc. I think that is going to be really cool. But yeah, I think as of right now, you know, considering they haven't gone over and done a fully, like, you know, kind of, you know, Gondor isn't finished yet with all the details and stuff, I think it looks awesome. I love, of course, all the wheat fields and stuff outside of Minas Tirith. You've got to find a way to feed this city, so it's cool to see. And again, the individual models are absolutely beautiful. You even have this awesome mountain pass up here as well. So as you make your way up, the beacons are lit. And then you obviously have the beacons as well across the mountains going over to Rohan. It'd be a really cool, interesting way. It's like if the evil forces could take this settlement, but this beacon never gets lit, and you know, you don't end up going across the mountains, and you can see them right here. So yeah, such an awesome bit of detail as they go their way over into Rohan. So on top of all of the awesome improvements to the campaign map, we also have a bunch of unit trees and also armors being implemented. So for Gondor, we have the mid to late tier units being done. As you guys can see, the first couple tiers of the Gondorian unit tree, it is still in kind of vanilla Bannerlord stuff. However, past that, we are going to be getting into more of the custom assets. And again, I just need to reiterate this is an alpha. There are plenty more pieces of armor already have been commissioned by the development team, etc. Weapons and all that stuff stuff has been done and is being worked on. Of course, it's a big undertaking to not only commission it, to then have it completed, then to rig it and then bring it into Bannerlord, etc. You know, so just keep that in mind again. But I think they look great. So the Gondorian unitary right here, we have the footman going down here, going to be kind of lightly armored, a bit of mail scattered in there, spear, shield, no sword on the Gondorian footman, which is going to be interesting. Then we go over to the swordsman, and again, it's just the classic. It's the classic Peter Jackson breastplate right there. I think it looks awesome. One thing I would love to see, and it's just something that I personally always kind of embody with Lord of the Rings, is these Gondorian helmets with the long curly hair that comes out the back. I don't know what it is about it, but whenever I think of the Lord of the Rings movie, that's one thing I think of when I think of Gondorian soldiers. So then as we go down, we have the Gondorian veterans, and I love the pattern. If you look down here in the bottom left, you can see the pattern of the kind of overcoat of the mail, and you can see they have plate and mail, whereas these guys still have it, but again, they have the plate down there rather than the overcoat, so it's a little bit less fancy. There are also several variants as well. I think there's variants, yeah, in the undercoat and also in the helmets, so you can see the different types of helmets they have. And again, I'm sure as well they're probably going to be equipped with different weapons and shields. Over on the right hand side, we have the Gondorian spearman right here. So again, we're going to start off with the spearman, and we're going to go all the way down to the fountain guard. Again, look beautiful. The golden kind of tree on them, rather, when you compare it to the other guys, which is more silver. Yeah, they feel a lot more elite, right? They feel a lot more stronger and ready to get stuck down. And then, of course, you have the Citadel Guard. The rest of their unit roster, of course, they have the archers, and then finally the Gondorian knights. I believe they have also commissioned some more of the horse campesons as well. I know it's a real minor thing, but I think it makes such a difference to the mod if they do have custom horse armor as well. It just immediately kind of like, whenever I see this Catafacra armor, the first thing I think of is Bannerlord. So getting rid of that is just amazing, and I think they have commissioned some now as well, so that's going to be beautiful to see, the Gondorian horse armor. We also have some of the Gondorian noble troop line as well, so their noble troop line is going to be Rangers of Aphelion right here. They have a couple variants to them. Again, these are going to be bowmen with big two-handed swords, so basically the glorious Britannian veins. I mean, what more could you want from that? And I really dig this armor at the end with the embroidered of the tree. I think it just looks good. Yeah, and giving these guys some crazy stats and stuff, it's going to be beautiful. And then the other troop line that isn't done yet, we do have the Knights of Dol Amroth, so they're going to kind of be the other focus that you can go down, which I think is good. I really like the Gondorian unit roster. It has a bit of everything. It's focusing in on that heavy cavalry, but you know, that's Gondor. They're kind of like a jack of all trades, right? They're good at basically everything, and they have some noble troop lines to really focus them in on that cavalry, the heavy cavalry, and then also the bowmen as well. However, don't fret, even though Rohan isn't placed yet on the campaign map and the terrain of Rohan hasn't been fully fleshed out, they still have a lot of units and weapons actually already in the game, which is cool to see. And this is, I think, one of the most fleshed out rosters of the mod right now is Rohan. They basically have the most variants, they have the most pieces of armor, and the most put together unit roster right here, which you guys can see. So on the left hand side, we have the militiaman. Again, I love this armor right here, and there's several variants of it as well. This is a really nice leather piece. And I think it's kind of a shame that more of the higher tiers don't actually get this. They go into more mail, which I understand, but I think this is so glorious that you love to see it. But then again, generally in Bannerlord, you do end up seeing the like kind of tier 2s and tier 3s a lot more than you see the higher tiers. So again, you'll be able to see this armor kind of more regularly on the battlefield. Then we go down to the axemen again. It's just gonna be like heavy mail, cool custom helmets, lots of javelins as well. So it's gonna be more of a skirmisher infantry. And then at the bottom of their tier, they do have these extremely heavy two-handed axemen, very heavily armored. They have throwing axes, and they're going to be able to just get stuck in. They also have some really high tier spearmen as well. You'll notice that that Rohan don't really have any heavy infantry swordsmen. So again, they're not going to have a lot of shock infantry. I say that. These mustards do actually have swords. I'd kind of like to see, honestly, to kind of really emphasize the eliteness of the cavalry, is they maybe remove a tier from Rohan, or they just kind of remove these swords. You know, let's kind of focus in on Rohan as being this faction that is just, you know, they don't have as good infantry. They might have good shock infantry, but their baseline is necessarily not as good. And that's kind of represented already with their bowmen. They only go up to tier 4s on their bows, so their bows aren't going to be kind of anything to write home about. There's going to be, of course, this elite cavalry that, again, we're seeing. So they have the riders of Rohan going down to veterans, elite riders, and then, oh my god, that armor looks beautiful with the gold. Wow, yeah, it looks really nice. And then finally, we have the Royal Guards as well. And they also have a Lancer variant, which is just a spear. So they have a kind of a sword variant and then a spear variant. And then finally, for their noble troop line, they are going to have this horse arch unit. Again, I don't think this one is completely done quite yet. The weapons and stuff is still very much a work in progress, but it does seem like their elite troop line is going to be a unit of horse archers, which I really like. I like that. We already have the heavy cavalry inside of their roster, so giving them these skirmish cavalry is going to be great. Then the final faction that really has the majority of their troop tree already in the mod is going to be Dunland. So Dunland have a lot of units. So these are going to be their noble troop line right here. Again, with their Wolfang axes, their Hearthguard. Again, their noble troop line is just going to be these heavy infantrymen. There's several variants with the different helmets and different shield types as well. Big shields, big weapons, javelins. Yeah, they're going to be a pain to deal with. But of course, Rohan has the cavalry, so we'll have to see just how well that does play out. And then they also have a pretty wide unit tree line as well. So with their just basic units, again, the beginning tiers haven't really had any armors done for them. But when you get into the tier 3s, that's when you start to see the custom assets come to life. So the left-hand side is going to be a heavier infantry, just sword, shield, and a bunch of javelins. These actually have 5 stacks as well, so they're going to be pretty brutal on the front line. Then they also have a big two-handed chief axeman unit, again with javelins. Yeah, Dunland are going to be a pain to deal with. They have a spear variant, they have some cavalry, only tier 4 again. So again, I like what they're doing here with the unit rosters. The fact that they kind of are focusing in on one line more so than everyone, like on other ones, and then they do have kind of some shortcomings as well. You know, Dunland, their cavalry is not going to be as good, and their bowmen are going to kind of suffer only having tier 4 bowmen. But then again, they have like tier 7 heavy infantry plus their nobles as well. That's going to be the main focus of that unit. So that is just really a glimpse at a bunch of the armors that are already in the kind of the troop trees themselves. But there are also tons of other ones. For example, they have a lot of character ones. All of the characters are done for a lot of the houses as well. So you can see Denethor in some pretty elite armor. All the clans are basically set up as well. So you have a lot of the houses. All of this is again subject to change, but again, you have a lot of the houses set up for basically every single faction. Well, I say every faction. Rohan has that, Gondor has that. You can see Rohan right there. And then also we have a few of the other ones. I think the elves are also set up with their houses at least. Actually, that's rad right there. And yeah, there's a few other ones which you can see are still very much a work in progress, but are being developed. Let's move over and fight a little custom battle. As of right now, again, they haven't really set this up, but you can play as Rohan and you can fight against Dunland in the custom battles. It'd be awesome if you could get like Gondor and stuff into this, so you can just mess around with this build. But again, keep in mind that this is just still such a test build. This isn't meant for people to play. This is just for them to kind of just show off kind of what they're working on right now. But we get to take a little look at the type of units that we have in battle right now, and they look glorious. You also get a nice little glimpse of the actual shields and weapons as well. If we go off into the camera mode again, you guys can see all the different armors up close and personal, and I think they just look amazing. Rohan definitely are kicking some serious ass, and when we get some custom horse armors in as well, yeah, they're going to be such a brutal force. Again, you can see the detail in on that armor as well, looking absolutely amazing right there, which is pretty exciting. Even custom weapons as well, I believe on a lot of these. Again, more are being made as well. So yeah, the horse armor looks great. Rohan is going to be no easy feat to beat. If we take a look at the infantry for Rohan, again, I love these big old shields for horns on the side as well. So yeah, basically their front line is going to be just a bunch of these lightly armored men, and then we go further back, we kind of go more into that more male focus, and then obviously into these dudes right here. As I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Rohan kind of lose some of them spears on their back and stuff, you know, and kind of focusing down either just having a spear or having a sword. But again, Bannerlord might struggle with that. You can also see the helmets as well. Look at the awesome horse detail on that as well, looking very nice. And of course, the elites of the Rohan infantry is going to be these big two-handed axes at the back. Also, as I mentioned, we are fighting Dunland, so let's move up our forces as quickly as possible. I think we want to let them come across the river for sure, so our cavalry can kind of have their fun. So let's bring up some bowmen at the back, stick them in loose formation, and we have a big block of cavalry. So yeah, let's stick our cavalry. I just don't have RTS camera on, this is painful, but let's get our cavalry over here, and we're going to smash into the Dunlings. Look at them cross the river right there. And here we can see up close and personal the Dunland forces right there. And again, I think their armor looks awesome. I love the shields as well for Dunland. They look really, really nice. You can see more of them pushing across. Some units, oh my god, I actually left some Imperial Legionaries in here, my bad. Yeah, you can see their units again. looking very, very good indeed. And I think Dunland's going to be a pretty powerful faction. They really, really are. I guess maybe they'll have a few less clans maybe in their army than say a few of the other ones because, or maybe a few of their factions will be split up and stuff because they're not like united. But you guys can see, again, the eliteness of the Dunland infantry is going to be brutal. I think we're going to get slaughtered here on the front lines, but we will see. Okay, here we go. The archers are now firing off some volleys here as Dunland approaches. Their cavalry are actually pushing off on the flank, and they're going to try and cross down there. Interesting. Our infantry has formed a nice little tight shield wall to obviously absorb some of the ammunition coming in. So then what we'll do is we'll charge the cavalry in and try and hit them as they're forming up. Yeah, let's throw in our horses. Look at that javelin volley going in. Wow. I mean, that is why. Oh my god, and they just immediately form a shield wall and just counter our tactics. No, Dunland have been fighting us for too long. Pull back, get out of there, get out of there. We're going to try and get our cavalry across the river, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Let's run. So many spears going in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to tell the infantry to engage so they will slowly march forward in that shield wall and look to clash. That looks awesome. The javelins coming in but are going to be brutal. And then what we do is we get the cavalry to turn back around and get stuck in. I think we are going to get absolutely slaughtered. But let's just get ourselves killed really quickly so that we can watch the battle unfold. So let's just come up here and just, die. Look how much there. Again, balancing. There is no balancing done in this whatsoever. The infantry are now going to be fighting in all of their glory, hitting down. The men of Rohan stuck in. The archers firing off many volleys as they can. One of the advantages we have as the line does continue on. Oh, we see some of the big two-handed axes right there. Dunland are ripping us apart. I love the Dunland weapons as well. The axes look great. They really, really do. And yeah, they're just tearing us apart. The Dunland cavalry as well. Luckily getting sniped out there. But they're ripping through the countryside. And I think that is just about going to do it for this first very, very, very early look at the Tales of the Age of Men mod for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. As you guys can see, they are making some insane progress, and I'm really, really excited to see them, just continue on this work. And of course, the future of what they're planning. There is so much in the works, but just didn't make it into this build. So if you're asking when is this mod going to release, well, they have a plan. They have a plan for basically their phase 1 of the mod, and that's kind of when it's in a playable enough state that they are willing to release it and let people actually play it, and that is very, very, very roughly around about March. And in that build they plan on having Gondor fully done, Rohan fully done, and then also Mordor fully done. Mordor's going to be their focus going forward, trying to get as much assets in for them as possible. But yeah, that's something to kind of keep a very rough estimate. Now chances are that March isn't going to be the time. Everyone's always pretty ambitious with these type of titles, and I think chances are it's going to be a bit later than that. But still, that's only like 6 months of the mod being developed, and we already have a phase 1, which would be pretty cool. So be sure to drop a like and a comment down below if you want to see me carry on with this. If maybe you would like to see them implement some cool custom battle stuff into here, like that'd be a cool way for the patrons to actually be able to mess around with the units and the armors if they got this working. So that's maybe just a suggestion from my part, and I would love to do obviously make loads of videos on that as well, using the new Gondorian units. I definitely think that this mod has a really bright future as we move into phase 1, Mordor being the focus. And if you guys want to see me obviously keep you guys up to date with this type of stuff, then be sure to drop a like and a comment down below and subscribe so you don't miss out. Finally, again, a massive shout out to the dev team, to the main mod lead as well. I very much do appreciate you giving me access to this, and obviously I think it's a really cool idea giving it over to the patrons as well. They're supporting without there being much to really play and see right now, even though obviously we're seeing all the development, but still, it's cool that they can just kind of get their hands on this, and they know it's a very early test build, so it's kind of cool that they are doing it, and I think it's a really awesome thing. So yeah, drop a like, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.